Today we're making retro Christmas DIYs. Keep watching. I'm Brandy and this is Making It My Own DIYs. Welcome back. We're going to start off with a retro Christmas banner. We're going to use 3 of these little banner pieces from Dollar Tree. Could be rectangle or square. I have some rickrack that I'm going to use. These are some postcard looking thingies that I got from Temu in a big pack. Oh, they're actually a paper banner, I think. I've got some sparkly ribbons in white and red. We are going to start by taking these apart. We're going to take the burlap or the jute off of here. It's very easy to do. You just push that plastic piece down, take it right off. Then we're going to take off our tags because today we are going to be working on the back of the sign. But we're going to make it easy enough that you can easily peel this stuff off and use it for another project if you would like. How about that? Okay, so we're going to sand these down. These pieces are notoriously rough and will splinter up your little pinkies, so just be sure that you get it nice and smooth on both sides so when you're handling this you get no bobos. Alright, I'm going to wipe off the dust, any that is left on there, and clean it off. And then I'm going to take my awl and go in each one of these little holes where the string will go. So you could use baker's twine, you could use some more jute, you could use rickrack like I'm doing, or some type of a thin ribbon, or cording, whatever you like. This is going to make it easier because it will take out any rough areas that might snag when you're trying to push them through those little holes. You see the difference that it makes when you do that? Makes it nice and smooth. Look at the difference. Alright, now we're going to be embellishing this with some ribbon instead of painting it. I'm going to take the white. You can still see through it. You see, I can see where those holes are punched in there, and that's exactly what I want, so that's perfect. I'm just going to make sure that I have enough to go across all of these and fold over so that on the black side we can glue or tape this down. Alright, easy to do. This is exactly the same size, so it worked out perfectly. I'm going to hold it, flip it over, add a little hot glue, and then press it down. I want to make sure that it's lined up nicely so we don't have to put any extra glue underneath the front. I'm going to pull it taut, wrap it around, and then tack it in place. Be sure you protect your little fingers. I don't want anybody getting hurt. Okay, so now there's all 3 of them. And we're going to start with the next layer of ribbon. Right underneath the lip of the top part, I'm going to add a strip of red. You don't have to do this step. And what if you don't have those Temu banner pieces that I have? Well, Dollar Tree happens to have 50-cent cards, and then they have some cards I think that are maybe $1 or $1.25. You can just find some cards that you really like. Mine just happened to be in a vintage theme, but they've got some really pretty ones at Dollar Tree that you can give a try if you would like. See, this goes along very easily. I would even call this, you know, a beginner type of project. Alright, so now I'm just going to lay these down, and although they are very close to exactly the right size, there's still a little bit of a gap when I space them the way I like them. I could always pull it straight to the bottom, that would be fine, but I like the way that the glittery red kind of frames it when we put a strip across the bottom. So I'm going to just do the same thing here and just cut these down into 3 pieces, and then we'll go across the bottom in the exact same way that we did with the top. Very easy to do. I love these little retro banner pieces. They're so pretty, and I have worked with a lot of this is not sponsored by Temu, y'all. This isn't sponsored. If you don't like Temu or you have opinions, we don't need to discuss that here. I have worked with them, and you know, I don't have a problem with any of their products. We get a little different type of look instead of the same old stuff that everybody's doing at Dollar Tree all the time, and so it works for me. Works for my business model. Okay. And I want to keep things inexpensive for you guys because that's what this channel is about. Alright, so now we've got like a little framework. I could just put that right on there, and I love the way that looks. So I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue. Now, when you do this, you don't need to go nuts with hot glue. And you could actually use a different type of adhesive if you want to do that. But as I've said before when I'm doing the videos, I need to use something that's going to work quickly so that you can see these projects. Since it's 2 videos a week that I do, I need to be sure I get this material out for y'all because I know that you depend on me and I want to be dependable. Look at that. I like that. Now, if you don't have the different color ribbons or you don't like to do it this way, think of all the different things that you could do on yours. Maybe you could paint it. If you're not planning on reusing this, you could just paint the whole thing, right? You could definitely do that. You could use, for the pictures, if you can't find cards you like, get a bag or a package of Christmas boxes. They're beautifully decorated. You can get them in a variety of sizes, and they would work great for projects like this as well. These are so sweet. I love that nostalgic look. All right, so these are just some little mini bows. You could probably get these anywhere. Actually, I think these might have come from the clearance at Hobby Lobby last year. I think the clearance section. I am just going to take the wire that is around the middle and just kind of wrap it back on itself toward the back to give me a little something else to hold that glue. And then right over the original little spots where the banner would have taken the ribbon or the thread or whatever you use there. It's a little hole punch there. I'm just going to cover that up with these cute little bows. I think it's a nice little embellishment, but you certainly don't have to do it if you don't like it. You could add another strip of ribbon right across the top. You could cover it up, or you could just leave it like that, right? So many options when you are making it your own. So many. And I'm just going to continue and do that for the top of each one. We don't have to do anything to the bottom, and I like the bows on the top anyway. I think if we did it on the bottom, it might just overdo it. Okay, so there's my awl, and we are going to start really getting these things put together, making one piece. I'm going to hold my ribbon in place and use that awl to punch right through the ribbon. This is, I don't know what type of fabric or material this ribbon is, but it's kind of papery. So, you know, just keep that in mind. If a different type of ribbon might not give you the same result, but it's working for me here. All right, so now we have our holes punched back in the top. I have a little piece of a greenery wire or stem that I have cut at a slant. It makes a very good little pokey tool. Yes, it's a pokey tool. And you just keep something like this by your table and it makes it easier. You could also use, if you were using baker's twine or some type of a thin thread, you might could get one of those plastic needles to thread through there so you could put your project together a little more easily. I do realize that for those of us who have carpal tunnel, who have vision problems, who have arthritis, who have neuropathy, sometimes working with pieces this small can be difficult. So, you know, nothing wrong with asking for a little help once you get to this point. If there's somebody around who's handy and has some young eyes and hands, let them help you out here. Now look at how cute the rickrack turned out on here. Once I get it through, of course. Look how cute. It looks like an extra piece of embellishment or trim at the top, and I can't get enough of it. Continue along, put the next one on, and as I'm doing this, I'm trying to ensure that I'm keeping the rickrack from getting twisted all up. See, I'll just go behind when I put it through and make sure that it lays flat. I don't want a twisty mess. I want it to actually look nice and neat. And I won't have to glue this in place because it will stay straight across the top where we leave it. It just makes, that little pokey tool just makes everything so much better. So much better. Y'all, it is already the 27th of November. Where has time gone? Again, another year that is almost over, and I'm left thinking, what did I do this year? What did I do? What did I accomplish? How about you? Do you sometimes think that? Where in the heck did the year go? Ugh. It's a lot. But hey, you know what? It was a great year because I had you here with me. And that means the world to me. Okay, so now if you want to embellish, you can. You could add little ornaments on here. You could add beads, depending on what style you have or what you like. Totally up to you. But for me, I think I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm going to grab my glossy Mod Podge, although it really doesn't matter what formula you use for this. And I'm going to go over the little areas where the snow is on my bell picture. You can definitely grab up some glitter and use glitter on this if you really want some sparkle. Last year I had glitter everywhere. There's probably glitter down in my studio that has been there for years. I'm almost certain it is. Yeah. You just can't get rid of it, right? You have to be selective. At Christmas time is the time to be selective with the glitter. But I decided, let's do something different. Maybe you don't have any glitter. Maybe you could use some table salt or some fake snow. If you don't have fake snow, maybe you could use something else. What do you think that you could use on here that would be something like snow or ice? Maybe, I wouldn't say sugar. I think the ants would enjoy the sugar though, but no, I wouldn't say sugar. There's just, you got so many options here. You could also go over these sections with some puff paint, really give it some definition if you wanted. So for Santa, I'm going to go over his little hair, his hat, his beard, and then a little bit on the top of each one of the little deer's heads. Because they're standing outside and it's nice and snowy. And I also put a little bit on the snowflakes that are on there as well, but just a little. These are just extra little things that you can do to bring your projects up a notch, to make them a little more unique, but they're not required. You know, it all depends on where you're at in your crafting journey and how confident you are with your crafting. But I have to say, don't be shy with crafting. If you do it and it makes you smile and it brings you some joy, and that's exactly what you needed, right? We all need more joy in our life. Nothing wrong with having a little childlike fun. So I'm just mashing it down just a little bit with my fingers, just kind of patting it to make sure that everything is sticking down in the Mod Podge. And on this one, we've got the little Frosty, and I'm just going around on the little snowman, right on the top of his hat, on the top of his gloves, some on the bell, and then some on the little, you can see what I'm doing, the little roof of the house and on the sides. I don't want to overwhelm him and completely cover him in the frost, in other words. We'll just say that he's packed down snow, so it's fine. All right? So I'll give it just a minute, you know, kind of let it stick a little bit better, dry just a tad. And then I'm going to tap these off, and I'll put that snow back in the bag because I'm cheap like that. No, I'm not cheap. I'm thrifty. That's what it is. I like that better. Okay, so once that is done, put it back in the bag like I mentioned. Get you a Ziploc bag, save it. You can always use it again. I'm going to take a clean, dry brush and just sort of, you know, tighten this up a bit. Flick this off of the ribbon and the places where the snow doesn't necessarily need to be. Just cleaning it up. I just like the way this looks because if you have it all over the card, you can't necessarily see the detail. Of course, that could just be a vision problem for me. Hopefully that's not an issue for you. All right, now you can easily see here how we're going to tie off the ends. And by the way, if y'all want more than a 3-piece here, you can do more. As many as your heart desires, you can do 12 if you want to. Totally up to you. This is just a little way to show you how to do it to get you inspired to make one for yourself. Wouldn't the kiddos love this? You could put this across your kitchen window, and when you're cooking Christmas dinner or cookies and the grandkids or kiddos come over, they could see this and really enjoy it. You can watch my videos on Mondays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. It is free to subscribe. See you in the comments. The next is a retro Santa sign. Alright, so here we go again with some ribbon. You can use red, you can use white, you can use fabric kind. I'm going to use some more of that red rickrack, of course. I'm going to use some of this beautiful fabric from Dollar Tree. Very pretty. And this little sign that I got from Temu. The little canvas that I got from Temu. Very pretty. It's an 8x10. Nice little piece. And then I have a larger canvas that I got at the thrift store, so there was no information on the package. I'm just going to measure it for you. You can see what our measurements are. You can get some canvases at Dollar Tree too. And what if you don't have a canvas? Let's go back to that. So if you don't want to buy a canvas, what can you use? Get another box top. Right now in Dollar Tree, you can probably find 3 at least that would be suitable for a project like this. And all you have to do is just trim it out and then you can use it. So I'm going to take the fabric, and you know, you could do something like a Mod Podge on here if you wanted to, but to make it quicker and also into something that I could take apart. I'm going to protect my pinkies here. You can use the fabric over the board with a little hot glue. So just don't go crazy with the hot glue, and you should be able to peel these off, especially when they get cool temperatured. So if you needed to use these pieces again, you could. I'm just going to press that down in there. Everything is going to get pulled taut, but not too tight, because I don't want to distort the fabric and have it looking into a weird wave pattern or something. I'm just going to do the long sides first, and then I will switch it around and work on closing up the ends. Now, I like to do mine with fabric as I would when I'm wrapping a present. It's just, I don't know, it's just easy to do. It's a pretty neat way to close the back up, so that's what I'm going to show you how to do. And then if you have another idea of how you want to do it, you are welcome to do that. But I like this because my corners won't come undone. They'll stay nice and crisp. Just folding it into a triangle, adding some glue there, and then I'll flip that fabric up onto the glue. That's easy enough, right? Then this part can either be trimmed down, or if you want to make it even nice and neater, you could fold it under and then grab your hot glue and press it down. And you'll do this process on both sides until it is done, of course. Yeah, look at that. Nice. That's a nice clean base to work with, and look how beautiful that looks against there. To me, that is not too busy of a look. It's very simple. Now, you could get busy with it really easy. You really could. We're not going to do it that way. Now, I'm going to just trim this out with some of that red glittery ribbon, and I'll do each side. And then I will also measure and cut the top and bottom. I choose to leave these a little bit long because I'm not the kind of person who's going to get a ruler or tape measure out on a regular basis. I just work really too quickly for that, and it slows me down. I'm also going to grab some buttons. Now, first go around, I used the glue stick here. This is a regular, like a purple glue stick to put the ribbon onto the canvas. It does work. However, it will slide around until it is completely dry. So if you choose to use a cool temp glue gun here rather than this, that's probably going to be a better option for you, unless you have the time to work on your projects and let them dry and then come back to them. But I'll show you how to reinforce it with some hot glue also. So once it's framed up, I'm going to go flip it over on the back and then cut off the red because I can clearly see it against the white from the canvas. And I'll just cut that, just kind of trim it carefully. I don't want to damage the beautiful print, which I should have gotten a bigger size because it is gorgeous. And I'm just going to trim it, and there it looks like that. Then I'm going to take a little bit of hot glue and just smear it under there. Just going to smear it. I'm not going to make, big bulky mess with that hot glue. Then I'll grab my tape measure or my ruler and make sure that I have everything spaced out correctly. I hold it in place with one hand, and then I'll go under it with a little hot glue to tag down the corners. I'm checking again, and I'll slide what I need to slide before it is set. And then I'm going to add some on this corner. And doing this in each corner is going to keep it in place while I put the extra glue underneath the long sides of the canvas. Oh, this is so cute. What a beautiful little print. Really is cute. And I know my retro fans are going to love the beautiful print. So I went into my embellishments and thought, you know what, these beautiful little matte colored buttons would be perfect for this. Very simple, still has that sweet childlike quality, and I think it just does a little something. What do you think? What do you think about using the buttons here? I think they're cute. They don't cover up or take away from what else we have going on in here. They're just really, I think they're sweet. So that's very easy to do. And you could always use little bows in the corners if you want. You don't have to do anything. Now I'm going to get that same dry brush, and I'm going to that ribbon has a little bit of fallout from Dollar Tree, so I'm just going to sweep that away, just clean that up. You can seal this with Mod Podge spray or sealer if you wanted to, but it's not necessary for my home, so I'll leave it as it is. I flipped it over, and we're going to make a very simple hanger for the back. A little hot glue, just a little piece of rickrack. It was right there, I had it. You can use something else if you want. And then I just put a little piece of scrap paper that I cut. You can see over there in the corner, I cut that. And I'm just using that to help hold the little hanger pieces together while it dries. And then this is what this beautiful little piece is going to look like. I want to thank my channel members for helping make this video possible and helping keep me going. Thank you very much for all you do. The next is going to be a retro peekaboo wreath. Alright, so these are some 10-inch pieces of scrap mesh that I have. No idea how much is left on there because I got it at the thrift store. I'm going to use 2 different size wreaths from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use a ribbon from Big Lots with holly on it. And then I found this at the thrift store, and I'll use this. I've got some little holly rifted pieces I found. You're going to need some little, I almost said bottle brush. Y'all know those are pipe cleaners. And then you can use any type of greenery that you might want to get at Dollar Tree. Something Christmassy though. Alright, so let's start by prepping this wreath. This is the middle size wreath you get at Dollar Tree. I think it's a 14-inch wreath. Could be bigger than that, I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to take the center sections of the little crossbar right there, go under it and over it. This will lock it over the, out of the 4 little pieces that go around, it's going to take it over the middle 2 pieces. So you're going to go across that crossbar and wrap it around the middle 2 pieces. We're going to do that all the way around the wreath, okay? Then we'll start in the middle outside 2 pieces and wrap around there. Now these will slide freely sometimes, they'll move back and forth, but it's okay. Once you get your deco mesh on there, it's going to stay in place, no problem. Do this all the way around. Okay, and this is how it's going to look when it's done, and you will have, I think this is like 12 sections. Yes, it's 12 sections. I'm going to stack these 2 pieces over. I want to use the green on top and the red underneath because I want to see more of the green than the red. This is a very good quality. I had no idea that this was as good a quality as it is. It is thick and it does not shed like the other stuff. So thank you, whoever donated this. I appreciate it. Even when you pinch it up in your hand like this, you can tell that it's so much thicker and more durable. Really like that. So I'm going to take a section like this, squish it all up on the bottom, and it doesn't matter where you start, but I'm going to start on the inside and wrap that down snugly. Be careful. Sometimes you will break a tie here, so just be careful. I did break one on this wreath, but I fixed it. Not a problem. Alright, so we're going to make 8-inch poofs. Originally I thought 9, but no, we're putting them so close together and it's doubled up. We're just going to do 8. Okay? I'm going to press this down into the very next section beside it. We're going to just be like following all the way down. So inside, outside, outside, all the way around this wreath. I'm using my ruler here to make sure that I'm at 8 inches. You can see what I'm doing. And then, you know, if you have one of those cutting mats, you could use that to do your measurements. There are lots of ways. There are plenty of people whose channels are actual wreath making channels, and they have wonderful, wonderful tutorials if you want to go watch any of them. Mine's a little bit sloppier, but the end result is good, I think. You be the judge. You can judge that for yourself. I love to be able to teach y'all things. I love to be able to reinforce the things that I teach. And this is not something that you have never seen on my channel before unless you are new. So you can see what I'm doing here. A bundle, it's a little poof, right? Don't be concerned about what is what yet. Don't get upset. These deco mesh wreaths always look horrible before they start looking good. That's just my humble opinion. So we're back to the beginning where we originally put it down, or placed it onto the wreath. I'm going to pull those 2 over, grab up my little poof, and I left all this in so y'all could see that I struggle just like you do. I'm going to go to that section that I started at. I'm going to leave it wrapped, of course. I'm going to squeeze this poof down into there and use that same original starting piece to attach this down to the frame. Now I'm going to cut off what we're not going to use. Now I don't cut mine straight off flat to the wreath. I don't mind if there's a little tail sticking out here or there, as long as it is not frayed and ragged looking. I think it's okay to leave it on there. So I'm just cutting off the excess. I'm going to put that aside. And then we can start pulling the little poofs out. So I like to do like green on one side and red on the other. So you just reach inside and pull them apart. And then the next one I'll reach in and pull the red out and push the green to the back. Do the opposite now, pull the green to the inside, pull the red to the outside. That's easy enough, right? You can do that. And then we're going to do that all the way around the wreath. Now, like I said, I thrifted the 10-inch mesh, but you can definitely use the smaller mesh from the Dollar Tree if you need to. It won't be quite as floofy, but it'll be okay, and you could definitely use it. Now, can you see the difference already in the way that it looks from one side to the other? Fluffed and not fluffed. It's a pretty big difference there. Now, let's work on our little ribbon pieces, and we have done this before. So we're going to use 9-inch pieces here. Now, if you want yours to make a bigger impact, you can use maybe 10 or 11 inches possibly. I don't know. You can make it bigger if you want, but for my intents and purposes, I will have 12 large pieces, 12 of the medium pieces of ribbon, and then I got 12 pieces of that gold ribbon. So it's like probably like a 2.5, 2 and 1 inch ribbon, just for some variety. And I'm going to cut those with dovetails, every one of them. Then I'll stack them. Now this ribbon, particular one, I don't necessarily recommend because it is so much fabric and it is not stiff at all. It's very soft. It can be difficult to get that bunched correctly in your fingers and then to have enough body for the ribbon to hold itself up in your wreath. However, fortunately, it does have wire in it, so that does help it a little bit. But I love the color though. It's pretty. I think it's really pretty, and it looks great with the holly ribbon. I like that. I think it's a good look. So I'm going to push that down in there, take that little wrap and wrap it around. Be sure when you're using those ties or the pipe cleaners or the chenille stems that you make a note to always twist in the same direction, because if you get ready to put that little fluffy tail section down there and you twist it the wrong way, then your poof is going to come undone and you're going to have to stop and start over again. So just be sure, keep in mind to always go in the same direction so you're not taking anything apart, right? Right. Okay. So now we're going to do the same thing. You see me make one more little bunch here. I always like to put the bigger ribbon in the back, the smaller ribbon on the top. You do whatever your little heart desires though. The magic word is going to be ribbon, for a chance to win a box of goodies for Subscriber Appreciation Month. And when you say ribbon, I want to know if you use ribbons while wrapping packages at holiday time. I would love to know. It's something I need to get into doing a little bit more to make my packages fancy. So yeah, we'll see what I can learn. Maybe next year I'll have something like that ready for y'all. Okay, so now we're going to go along. The entire wreath is covered with this little bundles of ribbon. And now I'm going to take some of that holly and I'm going to pluck that holly right in the center of each one of those sections. If you don't want to add florals or greenery in your wreath, you certainly don't have to. What could you use in place of that? If you want to, you could use some of those plastic ornament balls that you get from Dollar Tree. Those would be lovely. You could do some green, some red, some gold in here. You can do bows in the middle. You can do little Christmas trinkets or toys in the middle of each one. It all depends on the look that you're personally going for. All right, so now this little wreath is the ones that you can get in the 2-packs. Very important part of this wreath. So I'm going to take a section of this ribbon and hold it down while I wrap it around. Now, if you need to hot glue yours to the frame, you can certainly do that, but I did not need to do that. This does not have to be super neat. I definitely want the representation of the color in there, so I want to be sure that I, make it nice looking. But it doesn't have to be perfect. Then I'll cut it off and hot glue it. Now I'm going to cut some 6-inch pieces of the holly ribbon. And we're going to make little tails for this. This is almost like a double wreath. And when I say that, like I said, I'm not a professional bow maker. I'm not a professional wreath maker. I just figure it out and I just do it and show you what I'm doing, right? So it may be called something else. There may be a wreath out there already called a peekaboo wreath. I have no idea. You feel free to let me know, because I would love to have that as my own name if this is something that I have created, because I've never seen it before. So you see what I'm doing with these tails here. I'm going to wrap a little bit of those little pieces of pipe cleaner that we cut off the wreath. I'm using that to wrap these little tail pieces together. And then I'm going to push them down in the wreath. Now what we're looking at is the back of the wreath and the back of the little ribbon tail. That's what you want it to look like at this point. We're going to do a bunch of these. How many I finally ended up with, I could not tell you, but it's about 1.25 inches away from each other when you put them down on the wreath and glue them into place. About 1.25 inches space. That way they are overlapping nicely and covering up any openings that might, you know, show through on there. I want it to be nice and rich looking. So I just squinched it in the middle, folded it into sort of like a V, pinching that center section, and I'm going to wrap it around with the little scraps of the pipe cleaner like you see me doing now. Very easy to do. Then I'll fluff it out a little bit. Add some hot glue and press that little knotted section down into the glue. And you see how one is overlapping the other one? Go all the way around in the same order around the wreath, and they will be overlapped and very pretty. So now we're on our last piece. I'm going to add this and put it right in that little opening there. You don't have to be precise. If you need help holding it in place, don't burn your fingers. Look how sweet. Oh my gosh, this is the sweetest little thing. This would be so cute even on its own. I just love it. Alright, so now I'm fluffing because you know I gotta fluff a ribbon, gotta fluff it. Now we're gonna move that big one over and we're gonna set that on top. Check that out, y'all. Looks like a porthole, doesn't it? You know I'm thinking about that because I just got off a cruise. And I'm going on a cruise in February too. And I cannot wait because I know some of y'all are gonna be there. I can't wait to meet you. Oh, and my friends, my other YouTuber friends. Whew, can't wait. I'm so excited. All right. We don't need to rush these holidays, do we? Okay, so I'm going to take wire and I'm just going to go on the top and then pull it down slightly and wrapping it around the frame. I'll do the same thing on the bottom. And then this is what's going to make it our peekaboo here. So we're going to put something in the porthole. We're going to put Santa and Miss Claus. What about that? That's another piece of that same banner I already used. And I'm just going to use a light mark with my pencil all the way around, and then I will trim outside of that mark, so about 1 inch outside of the original mark, because I want it to go on the outside of the wreath. You'll see what I'm saying. Let's trim that off because we don't need it. Then I'm going to erase my pencil marks because I don't want them to show naturally. We want it to be pretty. We'll flip it over. On this particular wreath, there is no top or bottom, so it doesn't matter how this goes in there. I'm going to add some hot glue on the bottom. Make sure that you don't put so much on there that it squishes out on your picture. And then I'm going to add some on the top. And that glue, in case you can't see where that is actually right on that wreath we just put down, that tiny wreath. And then I'm going to get my little deco mesh out of the way, press it in place. Oh, y'all, look at that. I hope that this wreath has brought you the joy that it has brought me while I've been working on it. It is so cute and fluffy and different, and I just love it, and I hope that you do too. Of course, I hope you like all of it. My backdrop is getting messy, y'all. I've got so much stuff up there. Look, there's our little sign with the buttons on it. That would be cute in a nursery, wouldn't it, for a baby? So cute. If you'd enjoyed these projects that we did today on a budget, I would really appreciate a thumbs up. It helps me to make more content that is geared to what you like and what you need. I'd also appreciate if you would subscribe to the channel if this is something that you enjoy, because I strive 2 times a week to bring you goodies for inspiration and ideas on how you can make it your own. Look at the little snowy banner. Oh my goodness. So adorable. Y'all don't forget the magic word, because I know you want a prize. I know you want a box of goodies, and I really want to give it to you. I sure do. It's time to give back. It's that time of year. I thank you so very much for stopping by again today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.